Well, good morning, everyone. Sorry it took a little while to get on today because there's a lot going on to cover here today. As the title alluded to, I will be doing a double vlog today. Yay, get both. Storm and, yes, snow talk will happen. So it's easier for me to separate them out, even though they're close together, because it gets confusing otherwise. Hello, everyone. I'm wave meteorologist Brian Good. Welcome to Storm Talk, part one here of the blog. And hello, you were first on X today. Carrie first on YouTube. And Travis. Hey, Travis. Hope all is well up there in northern Indiana. A little bit of thunder, Renee says, into Carrollton. Again, you can comment on the social media side, which is on X, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. There we go. So we have it covered on most every platform. So if you're just watching on streaming only, I'll try to repeat some of the questions, obviously, as we get them along. All right, let's dive into it because, obviously, as I'm always going to say, I don't have a whole lot of time. But I end up going longer than I plan every time, and it makes it very stressful to get ready for the 11 o'clock news, that's for sure. All right, let's start with a live look. Right now, it's 17 right. The runway back open as of yesterday afternoon. I see several of the UPS planes there as, nothing's really going to get back to normal, but at least operations are trying to move along as the investigation continues. Of course, we'll have the latest on everything coming up at 11 o'clock on midday. One thing to note as we look at Ali International, and you can see the overcast sky, it is about to rain here into Louisville. So we do have the wind gusting right ahead of this band of rain. It's been a little breezy all morning. Been a good thing, though, in temperatures. Pushed us into the 50s and 60s in some areas just because of that push of wind that started around 3 o'clock this morning. Has helped us out, gusting between 20 and about 30 miles per hour, but also allowing for a bit of shear on this front, which is leading to, wow, this is storm talk for this first part. Current temperature 61, got 63 down into E-Town, and where it's raining steadily there into Indiana, you guys have dropped down a few degrees. So let me show the satellites from space and the radar kind of combined, and then I'll split this up. You can see the band of thunderstorms. There's some lightning with this, not as much as we had, about 32 strikes in the past 10 minutes in that line that you see there that's moving in right along the Ohio River. But the sun is out, and it's hazy sunshine, but you're getting some of that modest amount of heating. It hasn't really fully started yet. It will a bit later on today, but it's not just so much heating as it is moisture that's getting injected into southern Kentucky at the later hours of the afternoon. And because there is such a tilt to this front, that's why we don't have a widespread severe weather risk in all areas. It's only limited to areas on the southeast side of that tilt. So that's going to put it basically in south central Kentucky. So Indiana, I don't see any issues for you. I don't see any issues for Louisville in terms of severe weather. But you get down to New Haven, to about Marion County, Columbia, you still need to watch it this afternoon for a couple of warnings. It's going to be fast. It's not going to linger too long. But there will be multiple little waves here to get through, but they're racing, which is part of the reason why, too, that it is windy outside, is wind fields are strong to push this along. So let's get rid of the clouds and focus on the radar only and get you into Louisville, because I mentioned it's almost 10 o'clock. So within the lunch hour period, for sure, we'll have some rain here. Already got light rain into downtown, moving in. Some rain across areas of Oldham County, as well as back into Harrison County to the west. Notice, though, in the past couple of scans, I mean, it's, kind of falling apart. There's some redevelopment behind it, so it's possible. The front itself is lagging a bit back into around Evansville, but still, this is all ahead of the front overall. These are what we call warm air advection showers. This is where the moisture is kind of funneling ahead of the front. You get enough lift in the atmosphere to create some rain, not always severe, just rain in general. But it tells us when we see the radar become active, that the air is certainly rising outside. Get into our northern northeast side. Renee, I'm talking about Carrollton. Yep, you got the rain. It should have already eased back for you, Renee. It's already east of you, heading to the other side there of 71, and some more showers back into North Vernon and Jennings County, heading toward areas eventually into areas into northeast or southeast Indiana as you get towards Switzerland County there in Ripley. Okay, in southern Kentucky, again, you haven't had much yet, because you are on the southeast side of that flow. So everything's delayed for you today. You have been through this many times where Indiana and Louisville get hit with rain or thunderstorms on stormy days, and then you guys are like the very last ones Today is no exception to that. It's a very tilted, positively tilted front. So it does take some time to get the rain in there, but you'll see the increase in Grayson and Breckenridge here already, and that will continue for the afternoon. So let me get to you back to the local view. And again, this is the area we're just going to be watching. The data is not overly impressive on severe. I mean, it's enough that a couple things stand out. Hail as one indicator that is showing up. There's enough speed shear for certainly some gust of wind around 60 miles per hour, straight line winds. And there is enough turning going on here, enough of the directional shear to allow for supercells, but there would be relatively small supercells. I just don't know if they're going to form within wave country or this is going to be more of a Tennessee problem. And it's trending more toward a Tennessee issue, but we can't rule out one or two may form, but it would only be maybe Adair, maybe Southern Green and Taylor, and that's it. I really don't see that threat anywhere else. So it's just the very far southern edge that some of those supercell structures, more of a rounded look to the radar instead of a line, they may try to form this afternoon. And if they do, hail will be up there, and if there's going to be any tornado threat, that's when it would pop in. But it's not a huge threat. So we still don't have enough data to go even with an alert day right now. And we're watching it hour by hour. If we feel that this is going to be an issue and that warnings are likely, we may go with a short-term alert day to cover our southern counties. So if you hear that language later on, that's what's referencing. Not so much everyone in the area, but just our southern counties. If you hear us mention alert day, that means our confidence has gone up. But right now, it's not. It's a messy setup. Cool weather season scenarios are really challenging because you have a limited amount of daylight now to work with, and you have a cloudy sky in many spots. So you got some hazy sunshine. Don't get me wrong. It's just the moisture injection into the front. That's the only thing that makes me a little iffy on how this is going to play out still. So still some questions on it. All right. So the Storm Prediction Center, they're going to keep the slight risk going for Green, Taylor, Adair, part of Hart County as well. It has shifted slightly to the south in the last couple of updates. Marginal technically does go up to Bullitt County, but that's mainly just because of some stronger wind gusts, potentially maybe a little bit of dime-sized hail that could form. But I would really focus more on the southern tier. I think that's more of an issue than anywhere else, just based on the satellite image I'm seeing right now. You know, models aside, that's the way it's looking. But let's break it down a little more. The tornado potential out of this, very low end, 2%, but it's on the charts, and it's for the reason I just explained, that a few of those cellular structures may try to form later on today. Otherwise, hail is going to be a little common threat. This is a fairly cold system above our heads, so any type of modest warmth we're getting here in the 60s is allowing these thunderstorms to get just tall enough to get into that colder air that there is some hail. And for hail, too, you need a little bit of dry air entrenched in the atmosphere into the cloud itself, and there are pockets of it. So I agree with this. This is all valid on everything we're looking at on the potential. But none of this is elevated. None of this is like off the charts. So I don't want to play this up too much, but at the same time, we don't want you to be caught off guard when there's an isolated warning can come out later. We just want you to know we're here. We're watching it. So let us, as I always say, let us do the worrying for you. All right, let's look at the breakdown from all the different analogs. Let me bring this full screen. This is going to be from, this is hard to see. Let's see. Here is SIPS on the tornado potential. Has nothing. Sorry, my pen is doing its thing again. There we go. Nothing there for tornado potential. Let's see. CSU has a little pockets in Tennessee, barely into southern Kentucky. And Storm Prediction Center, you saw where it was. I just showed you. On your hail threat, they all three have the hail threat. Again, I think the hail threat and the straight line wind threat is there on all three outputs, but the tornado one, it's only two of them even have that indicated. So I think that's your bigger issue. Is going to be hail, a lot of dime-sized hail. I'm sure will come out of this in southern Kentucky later on today, especially if the lightning count goes up. That will be one of our indicators that hail's forming. So just kind of keep that in mind as you venture out today in central and southern Kentucky. All right. And even here in Louisville, as you see here, this is our latest update from the HERB model. Okay, this is what it says at 11 a.m. It's close, but close on placement. But obviously the radar is a little more active than what the model says there. So it's a little off, but still not terrible. But you see what happens at 3 o'clock. We end up with another round. We saw a hint of it back into Washington County. That will be the one in round 3 that will then power up again over Louisville. So we will likely get some thunderstorm action right along the Ohio River and south for this afternoon. By the time we get to 3 o'clock news, we should have an active radar, may even have some stronger cells in our southern counties. We're watching at 3 o'clock. So I'll be here. Make sure to tune in. As I mentioned, this moves fast. So as we evolve into 5 o'clock, still have them on the radar. But by the time we get into really 7, 8 o'clock, most of the action, the herd tends to be a little slow, by the way, on its motion. So this will likely be a little further south and east than what is shown here at 8:30. So for touchdown Friday night, right now, I don't think there's going to be any delays. But if you are attending any of the schools, I would say around Bardstown, along the parkways and south, be aware there could potentially be a lightning delay on some of the kickoffs, potentially. We'll monitor that. But I think that's a very narrow window. I don't see any cancellations, just a narrow delay window in our southern tier. Fair enough? Any questions on this? Ask now or forever hold your peace. Everyone's talking about the snow. You guys are not even paying attention to anything I just said. I just talked for 10 minutes about thunderstorms, and everybody's snow, snow, snow. I guess I know my audience too well. You guys are all the snow lovers. So how about snow? Okay, camera, hang tight. Good point, Ben. The Veterans Day Parade coming up in Nulu. It does look good. I think partly sunny. Any rain that we're going to get. Let me advance this futurecast. Here's Saturday morning. Partly cloudy. Some of this could be fog, by the way, especially in areas that get rain today. And if we don't dry out in enough time this afternoon, then fog is pretty likely tomorrow morning. So we got to allow for a buffer time that it may look a little gloomy in the morning because the fog will be lifting. But once that disperses, we should go partly sunny into the afternoon. So Saturday afternoon looks good. And as Ben's mentioning, the Veterans Day Parade there in Nulu looks good for that. So I'm glad that's panning out. And if you're worried about the Cards, or I think the Cats are over in Kroger, right, for the evening as well, Saturday. The rain will be approaching Saturday evening, but this is nothing severe, but it will be approaching. I think, like I said yesterday, I think maybe the fourth quarters could have some rain involved. So be aware of that at the very end as you're ramping things up and trying to get home. But I don't see any issue for kickoff or for tailgating or anything like that. I think it would all be fourth quarter and on the way home type of stuff. And then that's out of here. Thanks for mentioning that, Ben. Let me see if you have any other questions on the storm. Rain totals. Hey, Jacob. This is probably because they repeat. There will be some areas that can get up to 3/4 of an inch, but this has a fairly limited setup because we're moving so fast. I would say 1/2 inch or less is going to be the most common range. You're not going to be able to accumulate a lot, but it's just an idea of not so much individual storms. It's more of an issue of do you get more than one? And that's where you could see some of those higher totals. Snow typo. Did I have a typo? Oh, no. Was that me that did that? Who did that? Because I'm the king of typos. Okay. Everyone's good? All right. So we're going to do something a little odd here, a little different. I'm sure you guys are excited. That is Storm Talk today. We'll be monitoring the trends. As I said, I'll have more coming up on midday. Let me reset everything. Give me a second here, and we'll get right into Snow Talk. Got everything all changed out. Yes. Got the background already set up. Snowflakes are flying behind me. Welcome to, this is our first Snow Talk of the season. Always seems to happen that way. We get off to a strong start, and then sometimes things just go off the rails after that. All right. So, as if you guys are new to how SnowTALK works, this is typically going to be the title of the blog for the rest of the season, even if there is no snow. The exception will be when there is a chance of severe thunderstorms, which there is today. So that's the reason why we had to do Storm Talk first. How this works, we will do our intro as always, say hello to you all. I will always go right into then the snowboard, where we look at what items are of interest going out roughly about 10 days out. Sometimes I'll go up to 14 days out. That's about my limit. I'm going to split this up because it really is two different pieces here, giving us some wintry weather. One will be on Sunday with rain mixing in with some snowflakes. And then we've got an actual potent little low pressure moving in on Monday that looks to be all snow falling through the area as we are going to get cold. All right, so let me show you. Here's the first piece. This is part of that Saturday night rain that I was talking about for the games that moves in late Saturday and early Sunday. This is the first low that will do that. A little breezy too, by the way, again, as we head into the nighttime hours. We get into Sunday. The backlash, the first piece of this, will again have some of that rain. Most of this on Sunday, I think, is going to be in the form of rain. There could be some sleet mixed in or grapple, which is that soft tail look. Looks like snowflakes in a way. But we'll be in the 40s. We may end up have falling temperatures today. The latest numbers are indicating like a 47-degree number early on, and then probably falling to about 40 or 41 in the afternoon. So the day looks to be getting colder. It will be breezy out, but no issues. All right, we're going to be well above freezing. Ground temps are warm. So this is a minor issue, but that's why I wanted to separate it, because the dynamics of how this plays out are two different things. So this one's going to get some attention because it'll be the first time that some of you may see some of the snowflakes mixing in. Now, we are expected to drop down into the upper 20s to around 30 as we head into Sunday night. As of now, I still don't think that's enough to cause a huge concern on travel, other than areas that don't have any dirt underneath them. And I always refer to that because that's where the air underneath it can get to it and freeze up a road. What roadway doesn't have dirt underneath it? Well, a bridge or an overpass, anything elevated. That's when ground temps don't matter. If you're down to the freezing mark or below, so will they be freezing or below. So that's where things get a little tricky, because especially this time of the year, people are driving along and you're driving on areas that are just solidly on dirt, obviously, and you get to a bridge or an overpass or a flyover, and then suddenly you run into some ice and you start to spin because you're going fast. That's going to be harder to recover from. So take it slow when you get to those moments on the road, especially. Most of the roads, again, will be just wet. No issues, but you get to a bridge and overpass, just use that extra bit of caution Sunday night to Monday than you normally would. I don't think it's going to be a widespread concern as of right now. We do not have an alert date for this setup. Now, as we get into Monday, this is where we have the vort that would drop down. Now, this has got a much more of a kick to it. A lot of dynamics with it. In fact, been looking at the snow squall parameter. It is a little elevated, not high, but it's elevated. And interesting to see it early in the season like this as this digs in. So the challenge here will be mainly visibility for Monday with snow showers. We're still expected to stay above freezing, but not by much, generally mid-30s. And with the wind blowing with this little bad boy, it will feel more like about 18 to 20, something like that, much of the day. So Monday is just going to be a parka, hibernate kind of day. Look out the window. And in some cases, if these snow showers can come down hard enough, you can get some grassy accumulation. You can get some on the roofs, on your cars while it is falling. As soon as it stops or eases to a lighter snow or flurry, the melting process is almost immediate. So you have to be fast on taking your photos. And I want to see your photos, so make sure you take some. But this is generally a manageable type of snow. The exception to it is going to be what happens to the backlash of slow as we head into Monday night. There are hints that some of the wind flow, especially off of Lake Michigan, is going to enhance some of the snow bands roughly into Indiana and likely towards Cincinnati. I think northeast Kentucky, it could get a little more interesting. And I'm referring to more than an inch of snow that could fall and some of that feeder band motion there. I think that's going to be a little tougher for us to see that locally. But I think the way the wind angle is, and it really just depends on the angle of attack. How does this drop down will determine where that is going to line up. And so far, I don't have the feature here on the map yet, but it looks like it would be a very sharp angle, which is very normal to see that happen for that area of Indiana and Northern Kentucky. But again, that's something we'll be monitoring. And I think this is going to be slow enough that we should hold on to the snow showers even into Monday evening. But once we get into Monday evening, the problem is even with melting snow, now we're going to have a chance to get down into the 20s. And in this case, low to mid 20s by Tuesday morning. That's where we run into problems because now we've had a warm ground that has been cooled for 24 hours in advance, not frozen, but cooled down because of the cold day in general on Monday. And then we push it down another level. And at this point, we either have some light snow in areas on grassy areas or snow melt, so the roads may be wet. This is where we could run into slick spots for Tuesday morning, even without any snow in the area. Right now, Tuesday morning would be our main focal point if there's going to be an alert day for any icy patches that could develop more than Monday morning would be. All right. As far as amounts, well, again, I explained it's not a huge system here. This has got a limit to it, as Clipper type systems typically do. But I think if you're wanting anything exciting to overachieve, we're going to have to watch and see how that enhances coming off of the lake. Otherwise, this is a relatively minor snow and only visible during its heavier burst that will take place. We've seen this many, many times. The snow squall parameter will be interesting. I think right now Ohio has a little more to worry about with that than we do, because sometimes visibility can be a problem on travel, but I don't see that being a huge number yet. It's just slightly elevated here, but not as high as Ohio. Okay. Breaking this down more, you guys love the matrix. This is there's two different types of matrices that I'll be showing you guys on snow from the Euro. This one I like in short-term time periods because it fills in on a certain date, which again would be Monday. If you see it fill in all the way up and down every single ensemble, then you start paying attention to then the amount and the color on potential here. It was actually a little more filled in yesterday than what it is today, to be honest. But still, that's quite a few ensemble members that are filled in, but they're all gray. Gray is less than an inch, so minor. Yes, I know there are some hints down the road. We'll get to that in a second. But yeah, I mean, it's fairly high confidence on light snow falling. I think that it's totally fair. So how does this all evolve into next week? Well, we get this cold. I mean, this is an Arctic plunge here, guys. It's moving in. I mean, this is impressive for this early in the season, but honestly, mimics a lot of last year. I mean, we did this close to Thanksgiving last year, so it's not that unusual in that sense because the pattern seems to repeat, which I know is making everyone nervous about December and January. But as we head into the weekend, I do want to mention Wednesday. While there's nothing here, Wednesday is going to feature a rapid warming. I think Wednesday is going to be a windy Wednesday. A lot of wind here on Wednesday. Pretty strong high here to the south, and a lot of strong systems just carving into southeast Canada. So we're going to rapidly flip the script here, as we tend to do, from freezing temperatures and SnowTALK to windy and jumping back in the 60s really fast. So weather whiplash coming our way, guys. Now, as we head into the end of the week and next weekend, odd little area Cape and Thunder showing up here, but there are hints a couple of these systems that dive in may impact this for the weekend. If anything, they should warm us up into Saturday, but whether or not we get rain or thunderstorms, it's a little too early to know the call on that one. I was tempted to go with a rain or snow setup at the end of next weekend, but I don't know how far south these will be able to dig. They may not be able to dig all the way this far south and west. They may stay a little more into New England, but we'll be watching that. Speaking of long-term, here is the long-term matrix. It's filled in everywhere, but this one's a little different. It's harder to read because you really, for time period, you look where the ensembles, when they're filled in, you look where they start, and that's where the date is. And once they are marked for that date, they hold that color the whole time. So it looks like snow every day. No, it's not the case. Look for when they start up. So you can tell they all signal the one that's coming in Monday. That's where a lot of them kick off. but there's also another little bump up here around the 20th to the 22nd. And it looks like as we get into December, there's several little bumps in December that increase. So there are signals. And with the Arctic oscillation trending mainly negative for November and December, just like last year. I mean, last year, December was snowy until Christmas, and then we hit 60. So if we're going to keep this idea of repeating, then that would mean, yes, the end of November and December may feature more cold and more snow chances. There could be some thunderstorms. Someone is already asking about that. Widespread severe weather. Don't know about that, obviously, but this is a stormy pattern. And just like we've seen today, we've got a potential of severe weather, low wind, and then we got snow 36 hours later. I think that is going to be a common theme, unfortunately, with this mess too. So while, yes, for snow lovers, again, this is exciting, it will come with some weather drama on the warmer elements as well. So it is going to be busy for us for the next few weeks, as typically the case. Let me show you the 10-day, and then I'm going to see if you have any questions, and I got to get out of here. As again, I've rambled. How long have I been on now? 3 hours? All right, so here is the 10-day. Again, 60s tomorrow, 47, and then down to 37, 20s at night, and then windy as we get into Wednesday with that quick reversal that takes place, only to see a slight drop again, and then next weekend we'll work that out a bit later. But yeah, this is all over the place, right? Full matrix. Adam likes the full matrix. There you go. Everyone good? Everyone seems good. All right. I appreciate you all. Thanks for watching. I know it's been a busy setup here today, but we'll be on the air monitoring the storm setup hour by hour as we get into the afternoon. And of course, we'll have more coming up on our newscast at 3. And I'll be here at 4 as well today. All right. Take care, guys. Seriously. And I will be, side note, Tawana is out next week. So I will be on Sunrise most of next week, actually. So the blog will be normal time, but I'll be on Sunrise in the morning and midday. So you'll see me bright and early next week, just in time to probably slide into work.